Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, April the 27th. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. I noticed from the views that having a long video just daunted everyone. So what I'm going to do is split them up into two little pockets. And so we'll do one group only futures, one group only stocks, and you can pick your poison. All right, let's take a look at the ES today. We are still inside of last month's range. That's 4,089 to 4,098 today. That's the number I'm looking for. I love that 4081 retest. That's a beautiful number. I have not added any other lines on the chart since our video yesterday, and so you can see how well these things are just tracking through their pieces. Now, what I do notice is that we had really good responses to Meta. Now, the same thing happened with Microsoft yesterday, Meta last night, so we'll see if we'll see if Meta does the same thing that Microsoft did, which was sell off. And then, we'll know. So the big storyboard is, how are price actions changing? And they are getting weaker. Even as we're seeing beat after beat after beat in the earnings, everyone knows something's coming. And so, again, what's happening is people are getting in front of the trade, they're shorting ahead of time, they're having to come into targets, and then value buyers still come in, hit this pervasive buy, and they're off to the races. So now what we're seeing is a clear old resistance area that is now trying to be support. If we break 4081 again today, we've got ourselves some issues to the downside. So we're going to have to watch that. What are the levels here? We're going to look at 4,100 and say 4,103. We've got an anchored VWAP at about 4,104. And the regular VWAP is down at 4090. My suspicion is 4080 needs to be the floor. Again, we just look at it. Where'd we close yesterday? 4084. We dipped down in the pre-market to 4081 and immediately recovered. And so what we're going to try and do is get to the top of this candlestick at 4109 to 4113. Do I suspect that happens today? I do, actually. I think we squeeze, and it's because there's still people that are just too short too early. It's going to cause a snapback. So levels to watch again. If we lose 4081, 4050 is likely the next line in the sand. We did fade into 4068 and some change, so we might have a little hiccup there, but my thought is 4050 to 4054. That's the next line in the sand, and then 4039, and then the 4,000 level. It's coming. We just don't know when, okay? And so uptrends, what happens into uptrends, they pull back into frontline support, then value buyers come in at the first pass, they try to hold the ledge, and then they push up into the space to make sure that it is a break, right? And when they make sure it's a break, that means it collapses under the weight of more sellers up here, and then the chart rotates down. Otherwise, they run into here, they have a shallow pullback, and then they turn around and move to the north. So that's what we're looking for today. I suspect the top end maybe being 4111 to 4115. I don't know. Could be anything. We've got all kinds of news coming across the wires as the day rolls on. For the Qs were much stronger. Look at where we are. I mean, still headed to the top of the range. But notice, this is what happens. This is just exactly what I said. They flesh out the support zone. Here we had it 3 days ago. Yesterday came down into this area right here, 12,871. Let's put a line right on that marker. That's where the buyers began to come in, pulled up into the space, and notice what happened in the overnight. We pulled down into the open of the prior candle, got up over our noted 12,950, came into the 13,000 level as it's sitting this morning. It's going to run into a little bit of resistance. Now, what's that resistance going to do? It's going to put sellers back into the fray saying, ooh, it's breaking down again. That's a big round 13 number. I'm going to try and get in. But if they pull back and they hold the low of last week, and that's around 12,985, price action ends up lifting us. We've got 13,071 and then 13,131 on the horizon there. The last thing I want to look at is the RTY. And the RTY is in rough shape, and it's because the regional banks are sitting inside of here. Regional banks are the anchor point of American strength, right? These are the guys that lend the little guys, and by little guys, I mean anybody who wants to open up something that's $10 million or less. Those are the guys that are doing all the work, getting the money to the hands of business owners, and they are falling like a stone, trying to hold in the pre-market, but it's tough, and it is really a reflection of what's going on with interest rates. So what do you want to do? Unless we get up over 1752, every bounce is a sell zone. Wait for that area. If you're trying to pick the bottom, notice all of this heavy congestion. You've got to get up over the 1740 line, and then from there, have it come back and hold that 1740 line. My thought is it tries to fill the gap and then it collapses. We are sitting in a space that looks really wretched for these guys. This is the end of part 1 for the Benzinga Pro platform. For those of us that use the futures to mark through everything, we'll now be getting into part 2 in a moment.